Finally, a champion based purely on HP damage, scales off of HP, but is it going to be enough? Is this champion going to help your account? Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt Capper. This is another video on Watcher of Realms. Today we're going to talk about Rork. Rork is the first champion that solely scales off of HP for his damage. He is also the first of, I believe the first on global at least when he arrives, to be a the second epic lord of a faction. He is a Night Watcher lord. So why don't we take a look at his skill set? We'll talk about his damage, we'll talk about his abilities, and then we'll see where we might be able to use him in the game. Be forewarned, I do not have the gear to fully realize this champion's abilities. But we're going to show you here, we're going to show you the successes and failures, and we're going to talk about what that looks like if this guy was on a true endgame account, as opposed to on my test server account, which is considerably lower level. So without further ado, here's Rork. Here's our boy Rork. Does he look good? Absolutely. Does he look amazing? Yes. He is a lord, an epic lord of the Northerner faction, and the first of the second one, right? Isolde is already in the game, and much like the legendary lords of this faction, we have King Hearts and Elder. Now we have a defensive-based champion in Isolde, and now Rork as a attack fighting champion. But what makes this guy so unique, and I'm so interested, is as we look at his skills, his damage scales off of HP. So why don't we talk about his kit right now? First, his talent. Damage scales off of HP. The hero grants a shield equal to 15% of max HP to whoever casts an ultimate within one tile lasting 10 seconds. The shield's strength increases by 100% when the effect works on this hero. So you've got tiles around, and I'm sure it's going to be the square, not a plus sign. I hope that diagonal is one tile. And he's going to grant that skill. And this skill is going to last for 10 seconds. But on himself, it's going to be 100% instead of 15%. So double his HP. So if his HP is 80, the shield strength is going to be 100% of that HP, which is going to be huge. Why? Well, first off, it's going to make him more survivable, but also because of his kit. Let's talk about that. We do have a Lord skill. It's the exact same as Isolde. You're going to get the 10% bonus to all members' basic attributes of the Northern faction. You're also going to get a periodic shield equal to 20% of their max HP for 20 seconds. The more faction allies there are in a team, the more frequently it takes effect. So that's going to help. Why is that going to help? Survivability. But also, wait, there's more. His ultimate. Upon activation, basic attack deals 200% AoE damage. Now, right now, it is a single target, 110%. Goes to a 200% AoE up to 8 targets in the front area. I imagine I'm guessing it's 2 tiles because we'll take a look at that. He actually has a 2 tile. Let's go to here go to here for a second. Go to details. You can see he's got a 2 tile attack range. I think that's something that's going to make him useful in certain areas as well. Now, let's get back to his skills. For every shield strength equal to 1% of max HP owned, increases damage by 1% up to 100%. So, up to a 100% damage increase based on 200% AoE damage. Now, that is when he casts his ultimate. Remember, he's putting a shield on himself. So there will be 2 ways to use this fighter, in my opinion. The first way is to use him in the front line. Because this is an 8 HP damage dealer, you'll be able to absorb more damage while dealing out more damage than your standard fighter, keeping in mind that he can only block 2 enemies, 3 if you're using the Lunacy Visor. The other way is to put him behind a champion, preferably a Northerner. So you have Brokir, you put him behind Brokir. He's got a 2 tile damage, so he can still do damage forward, when he uses his ultimate, he'll conceivably never be taking damage unless it's someone with splash damage or 2-tile damage of their own. But if it's just strictly in front, he can deal massive amounts of damage to multiple enemies coming in. Think of all these stages. We have skeleton after skeleton. Think of stages where those skeletons get replicated. Those are different areas. Now, I'm not going to take him into all those areas because I don't have all of them unlocked, unfortunately. So just think of the 2 areas that you can use him, either behind a tank because he's got the 2 tiles worth of range, or as a frontliner to be able to deal the damage and absorb damage himself. His basic attack, like we said, is 100% damage, and Frosty Bulwark during the ultimate, dealing damage with basic attack to every 1 target, grants a shield equal to 2% max HP for 5 seconds. The shield strength will not exceed 60% of max HP. So he first pops his ultimate, he gets a 10-second shield for 100%, and then during the entire ultimate, which is 20 seconds, he's going to be building up a shield for 5 seconds, but each one of them is a 2% of max strength. It's originally 1%, but you can see here he gets 30% max shield, so it goes from 30 to 60, and from 1% to 2% on each hit. Because of this, probably want him to attack quickly, and you probably want him to attack hard, which becomes a little bit of a problem. We'll take a look at his gear and we'll talk about that. I farmed 10,000 energy several times to try to get gear that was HP based but also could do damage stats. This is what I got, so this is what we're gonna have to use. Would I like better? Absolutely, but we can kind of, and we'll take him into an area where we can kind of mimic what it would look like if he did have good endgame gear. Arguably, at least we can do something. But this is what I have for him: 85,000 HP. And the worst part for me, and I'll tell you right now, not very excited about this, is the attack interval of 1.8. I think he needs to have a way bigger attack interval, especially with that passive during his ultimate. But I don't have that gear. It is what it is. 90% crit rate, 276 crit damage. Not great gear, but it's a good start to kind of get an idea of where I think you can use this champion. And hopefully at some point, by the time he gets on my main account, I'll be able to farm up enough gear and save enough gear to put this guy in a legitimate set that will make use of his skills. Right now we have him Awaken 0. We're going to take him into Awaken 5 in a minute. So how are we going to use him? We're going to use him with and against or in tandem with Voroth. Voroth is of the Northerner faction, and you can see his stats here. He's actually in better gear at 16,758. 1 second attack interval. He also does specialized attack speed during his ultimate, which is really cool. 358.5 crit damage. This guy's going to do a ton of damage. He's going to do more damage than of course our Rork, but this is the best kind of comparison I can do. I could have dumbed down Voroth to try to get identical, but I don't know in my head what's the equivalent of 80k HP and attack. I don't know what that ratio is to really hone in on the exact numbers. So for me, you're just gonna have to kind of extrapolate in your mind. Keep in mind that Voroth's ultimate's kind of neat. It gets him to start attacking really fast. It increases, I said specialized, it's not specialized, but it is his attack speed by 800, and he deals rapid dual wielding strikes, increasing attack speed by 100, stacking up to 1400 for 15 seconds. That's an absolute mammoth. I love watching this guy hit with this. I think he's a very underrated epic, by the way. Maybe we'll do a video on him sometime, but for now we're going to use him to kind of as a comparison, as a benchmark to where our Rork is going for damage. He is also only Awaken 1 right now. We're going to take him to Awaken 1, and then we're going to take them both to Awaken 5. Easiest place to start, we're going to go to the guild boss and just put them both in there, Nightmare 1, just to get a comparison between the two. That's our goal, is to see what the two are versus each other. We don't need to, this isn't to say, hey, look, there's a new guild boss. This is just to give us some base damage. Stats is the easiest place to take them in to do that testing. So here they are against the boss. Now we're gonna try to keep it as even as possible. Well, I guess the beginning doesn't really matter that much. You can see he's got that extra length. There we go, and I guess it doesn't really matter. And then just for fairsies, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do ultimate. We're gonna put him on 2x. So we kind of talked about where I think this guy's gonna be best used. I think his best you know, and we'll see what the damage says. But I think his best opportunity is either I love the idea of him behind a tank. He's got that extra thing of range, and that's really going to help you clear out those multi-bosses coming in. For example, this, like I said, when those skeletons multiply, I typically use a mage to clear them out really quickly, but maybe you don't have that level of damage. Great progression opportunity. He's a lord. You have, say, a Brokir, an Olog. You put either one of those in front, and he can hit from behind with that extra tile of damage length. And I think that's, to me, that's the number one place. Now, what I will say is, and what I've noticed right away, is that I feel like he's not getting a big enough shield, or maybe it's just a visual bug, but his ultimate, let's slow this down here. Let's take it off. I'm going to take this off here because I want to show you something it doesn't look right on Rork here. Maybe it's a bug. We'll keep everything fair for damage purposes. See how much shield that he got? But let's take a look how much shield he gets. Now, he's not going to take any damage, right? Look at that shield. It's only 15%. That should be 100% of his HP. And there's no way that shield is 100% of his HP. So I'm a little bit concerned there. He is adding 19, and you see there it is. That's the shield he's adding, that 19 during his ult. He keeps hitting for 19. So I'm a little bit concerned he's not getting the proper 100% damage or shield. I'll submit that to the devs. We'll find out, because I honestly feel like whether it's a visual representation bug or an actual bug, I really feel like it should be half of his bar. If he's getting 100%, right? And he's 85k, that means he should get an 85k shield, which should be 50% of the total shield, of the total health bar. So whether that's visual or not, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to prove it, but we'll take that to the devs. Now, where else can you use him? Well, we're going to take him into two spots and see if he's going to be able to be used. The first one, we're going to put him in artifact material raid. And this, well, actually, we'll probably do that second. The first place we're going to test him is in the in Gear Raid 218. I have to do 18 because I don't have all the champions built to do a proper Gear Raid 21. I don't know if this guy, even if I did have the proper gear on other champions, he doesn't have the proper gear to be able to survive Gear Raid 21. But I think the fact that he's a lord, if you don't have Isolde, you do have like a Brokir or an Olog, you're trying to use him on both sides. And that's my thought, is on the left side, you use your main tank. He can show up on the right side to help out. And that's kind of where I envision him to be the most help. See him for damage. 15 versus 9. That's actually pretty good damage. I thought it was going to be a 2-to-1, but what you see here is, honestly, it's not much. When you consider what Voroth's ultimate does and the amount of damage is better gear, I'm actually pretty impressed with Rork's damage. Interesting. Okay, well, that's good. Now we got one more thing to do. We're going to rerun this with Awakenings, and we'll go through the Awakenings when we do so. Awakening 1, shield received plus 20%. Well, that's immediately banger. She's like, I had 2 copies. I should have just made a copy. I apologize. Crit rate 5%. Well, we like that, especially since we're not currently crit capped. That's pretty standard. His Awakening 3 extends the talent's effect range 2 tiles. So right now, instead of adjacent, the talent effect is the shield on anyone popping an ultimate. Now that's going to be extended 2 tiles. So anyone popping a talent, at worst, it's going to be a 2-tile plus with a 1-tile corners, or maybe it'll be a 2-tile corners as well. It's really, I don't know how they determine tiles in this game, but that's a big deal. That A3 is pretty banger for him. Being able to get those, especially if you have a full Northerner team. This guy's going to be pretty amazing, even just in faction wars, right? Because he doesn't have to be the Lord. If you have, say you have King Hearts or Elder, and you can still bring him in, he's still going to do all that shield stuff from his talent. Penetration plus 8%. And then when an ally in the talent effect range casts an ultimate, increases the hero's max HP by 4%. Max HP can be increased by up to 20%. Now, is that permanent? That's going to be interesting. So that's some pretty cool stuff out of him. Let's see what happens here first. I wish I had 3.5 times. I don't. I'm sorry. But we have, let's see what happens here. I should have just saved that and then I could have done an auto at least. Not that it really matters. I'm still concerned about his talent working properly. 20 and 12. What was it? Didn't he do more damage before? That's a little strange. It looks like he did less damage and Borath did a little more damage. So, and full disclosure, the very first time I did this, he had 10 million damage. So I don't know what happened in that last iteration that made him hit so much more. But again, big shields. He's offering even more shields from the damage taken piece. We're going to take him into 2 areas. Like I said, first, let's take him into Gear Raid 2. And I want to see what happens. And we've only been able to do Stage 18. But we'll turn off Power of Dominance right here. And we'll take in this team here. And we won't use necessarily everyone in this team. But we are going to use left side Brokir, right side... should we put him one down? I think we just put him right here, right? So we're going to put Brokir down. I think we can even speed it up to 2. I'm not that worried about it. We'll do this. Now we'll get some heals. I might have done that a little bit too late. Sorry. Yeah, I did it too late. It's all right. My problem. I wasn't paying attention. I have to put Vogoth up first. That was my problem. That was my fault. All right, now we put in Vogoth. I think we can do 2x now. The reason why I used his ultimate here is so that I didn't have to worry about him. It's a little touch and go, but we'll be able to get through that first part. Okay. Oh, you know what, though? This might be a problem. What happens when we do that? And then we're going to put him there. Let's take this down to 1 time. He died right away. Now, I've tested this before and he didn't die. So I don't know what the difference is here. I'm actually at a loss. I'm at a loss. Okay. Oh, you know what I did differently? I don't know why this should matter. I'm going to do this time. This isn't what I did differently, but I don't want her to be the target for the rock throwers. Maybe I should just be using... He's going to Earth Shake, which is going to give us... increased healing. As long as she doesn't let herself die. Looks good so far. Now that that's done, we can put up him. And we staggered him last time a little bit behind. So we'll see whether or not that's the difference maker here. Literally, he's the same guy with talents. So Yeah, and we got him on the right guy here. And he died again. I literally have used him in this position, and I tested a few times just to make sure that it worked before doing this, and now he doesn't work. So, I mean, it shows that probably it's going to be a bit tough. He does take so much damage off that first hit. I mean, I guess... Sorry, I'm not even... Oh, she lived. I don't know. I should have put... who's going to get it? She's going to get it? Interesting. Now, one thing I will say is this can do... Now, you know, we talk about kind of where I think he should really work is that kind of extra damage. Like, that's going to be a big deal to get that extra damage from behind. Oh, I don't think we needed the ultimate in that case. That was probably a mistake. I just was worried about Silas dying. So like once he's gonna come in, we don't need any of the rest of these. We don't need you. Arguably, we don't even need... I want to see... So here's one area that I think is a real miss, is that inspiration is based on attack. So you're not going to get that same extra out of him. But I want to see what kind of damage he's able to do from this side. That's an easy kills. I want to see what kind of damage he did there, because that might be just the reality is that with this gear he can't do that. He can't be that blocker. He just doesn't quite have the gear. I think he can be with better gear. And I mean, we can even prove it, but I'll do it in Artifact Material Raid to show what I'm kind of thinking. All right, so the next place we're going to take him into is Artifact Material Raid. This is where I think he's going to do his best. Power of Dominance is off. We're going to try this team where he's going to tank it, and we're going to use the rest of the team to just support and hold on. We'll see whether or not this is able to work. Full disclosure, I tried it once before, but I realized some of my champions were not fully geared. So it's going to be a little bit better this time now that I actually have a geared champion. It was actually Constance. So you can imagine she wasn't healing too well with no gear on. Funny how that works. I don't even need him to do the thing there. She's going to heal. That's her job. 13k. He's being hit for 28. She's being healed for 13. She's keeping up pretty good. But we cannot use her for inspiration. I'm a little bit worried when the big smack comes down. Okay, we're going to wait till after the devastating strike. And we're going to put her down. He's still holding on pretty good. We get that ultimate, right? So now he's got a good shield. Come on, get back to healing. Get back to healing. Get back to healing. Oh, with just a little bit better gear, I just... Do we dare just keep going here? Yes, the shield. Perfect timing on that. Oh, he's at 62%. This is close. Let's just focus everyone in. Get your ult going. Oh, Yes. Yes. Oh, survive. Survive, my friend. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So there you go. This, with, I would argue, fairly not so good gear, was able to do gear rate 18. Yeah, with great champs. Yeah, with terrible gear on them. Let's take a look at the stats here. 2.5. Man, I gotta do a Vogoth video. But 1.4 million damage, that's certainly not gonna get something you're gonna get with Broke here. Every bit helps when trying to take this out. He was able to tank the damage. If he had better gear, this would even be smoother, right? I mean, this is good. I really like it. This is where I think this is one of the areas I think he excels. But there's his artifact material raid. Why don't we now just go to final thoughts? We'll take a look at the hero and see what I think. All right, I'm adding this footage in afterwards. I was actually doing some testing in Falsia and realized the perfect place to show off Rork and the potential that he has as a champion. We saw him in AMR, absolutely crushing it. But this here is going to show the full potential of his ultimate. We're going to take him into experience raid, EXP raid. I know it sounds crazy, but absolutely. First of all, Lord, we got a full team. We don't need heals, but I'll just put a bunch of guys in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to run Falsia in the lead. She's got a Wailing Skull. And I believe he's sitting with in this particular test, he is sitting with the, I don't think he has a Lunacy Visor. He's got the one that gives you extra damage when they're one tile away. And I'm doing that on purpose. What we'll do is we'll run down here. So when they get through, but watch this. Watch this. Watch this. He's going to use his ult. Look at them all. Look at them all die. Look at them all die. It is so beautiful. That is that is the power that is he. It is absolutely freaking phenomenal, in my opinion, how crazily he absolutely demolishes with his ult. Look at him. He's just swiping them up to 8, right? The 240 damage. He's got his shields on. Now, obviously, he can't block as many in this particular instance because we have him with that +1. We can do this. That'll help. I don't even know if I have gear on him. Probably not. Maybe we speed it up here. No. Nearly got through. We'll go back to 1 times here. Here we'll and then I probably want to do this. I don't need it for the heals, but just for the regen. Okay, now watch as soon as we get another round. All right, pop your ult. Pop your ult. And this is, remember, this is not with great gear. He's not sitting on phenomenal gear here. It's a broken set. There's nothing special going on with his gear. And he's absolutely devastating the enemy here. He's devastating them. We'll do this, I guess. God, that ultimate is so powerful. It's so devastating. I'm shocked about how strong that ultimate is. I did not expect to see it do that level, but it is, and that's awesome. And there's going to be some get through. That's fine. That's the purpose of this, isn't to show you some new way of finishing this vault. I don't want to use his ultimate yet. Or no, yeah, we're done. We can use his ultimate. Everyone can just go. I find it funny that Arrogance is like fighting this guy in the back row here. And oh god, die, dude! Seriously, you're embarrassing yourself. So how many did we let 2 through? I don't know, bad. Yeah, we let 2 through. But look at this damage. Look at this damage. I mean, yeah, she's a legendary. She's single target, but she's hitting so fast at this point, and he out damages her because that cleave, or whatever you want to call it, that AoE is doing such good work. So I just wanted to add this to the video. I've already rendered the video. I'm actually going to redo the video, put this in there, because I think it's really important to show that's where he's going to be. It doesn't have to be at EXP raid. Anywhere you get that multiple where you can put him behind someone else. In this case, you put Falcia. It could have just as easily been Brokir, him behind Brokir, just doing that AoE damage with his ultimate. Cycling his ultimate is very important. The more you can cycle his ultimate, the more that's going to happen. He's going to put shields, and because he's behind a tank, he's going to get less damage on him, which means he's going to be hitting full damage potential more often, and it is devastating. So this to me shows him off better than anything we did so far. But there you go. Let's go with now. I'm going to probably get final thoughts after this little input. So let's go to that. My final thoughts on Rork. This is a champion that has been long awaited and a champion that I felt like this game needed, and he is a great first step in that direction. He is an epic lord of the Northerner faction. That means you're going to have an option. Maybe you don't get Isolde. Maybe you have her, but you need someone with a bit of damage. This guy's going to help you. He can survive. You can put him in gear. You can give him lots of HP, and he can tank damage. Not the way that a pure tank can, but absolutely can push in, and he has the added ability of giving you extra damage. Where I think he's going to excel is just from his Lord skill as a passive automatically makes him very strong. On top of that, putting him behind a tank so he can make full use of his maximum damage potential while not taking any damage. Those shields add damage to his ultimate. So the more shield, for the longer you can keep those shields up, the better. He's going to make other champions in the Northerner faction better. He's going to make your Gwendolyn, make him better, right? It's great synergy. He's going to keep people alive, especially with that talent 5 and the talent 3. Expanding how many people get the shields when they draw their ultimates, those sort of things. That's just going to make him that much stronger in this game. I love him. Now, what are the negatives? First off, the #1 champion that everybody in this game wants and should have and should build, he's not going to be able to make any use of. That's Dolores. Dolores and Constance, their inspiration skills will not do anything for this champion, though keep in mind, Leia's skill of the damage increase, the damage boost, will be able to, as well as of course invigoration sets that will still put on the damage boost. It's not an attack boost. The attack boost bad, damage boost good for this champion. Most importantly, this is the first pure champion of this style, so I think as they add more champions and they envision new ways, you might be able to make further and further use. Maybe there's champions who will boost and boost HP, which would be really cool for a champion like this. I think that there's plenty of opportunity. This is the first iteration. I really like this guy. As an epic, I think he's useful. I think he's playable. I'm excited to have him on my main to play around with a little bit better gear. So my suggestion to you guys, whether you're early game, mid game, late game, end game, whether you've got a champion to put in the spot that we showed him or not, absolutely, I think you need to start saving HP damage-based gear so that you can at least outfit this guy. If nothing else, his combination of talents in Faction Wars is just going to make that easier. He's going to make so many people. You saw Vogoth. Well, Vogoth is an epic. Imagine what he does for Falcia in those situations, for example. I think this guy's got great synergies. I think he's a great champion. I think he's a great epic champion. Is he better than Idril? No, he's not. Is he better than Dolores? No, in the kind of hierarchy. But I do believe that he does get a status near the top of the epic list just because of what he is able to do and what he's bringing to the table, whether you're not even placing him, whether you're placing him defensively or placing him offensively in all three areas, whether he's tanking or just dealing damage. He's a great champion. I think he's an excellent addition to the game. Can't wait to see him on Global. That's my final thoughts on this champion in this game. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I appreciate your patience getting through to the end. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, as we are pushing our way to that 1,000 sub mark, which would allow me to monetize the channel and allow me to put more money back into the channel to do more content for you. Most importantly and finally, thank you for watching. Please be kind, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.